Welcome to my channel Daily Bulletin News. After Chad grills Paulina about exposing the public to radiation, channel falls ill. Tuesday, April 30, 2024. Today on Days of Our Lives, John wonders what's wrong with him, channel feels queasy, Everett is very blunt with Marlena, and news of Maggie and Constantine's engagement spreads. In her office, Paulina tells Abe over the phone that she got the all clear from Kayla. There's not a trace of radiation in her system. Chad arrives as she hangs up. He got a tip that she abused her power and put public health at risk. She deduces this tip came from EJ. Hedging, Chad says he hasn't talked to his brother in a while. He's just trying to get her side of the story on the record. At the pub, Everett recalls his hypnosis session with Marlena, where he saw his menacing self. Marlena enters and ignores his attempt to brush her off. She sits down to ask why he lied to Stephanie about continuing hypnosis. Everett didn't want to make her out to be a quack in front of Stephanie, calling hypnosis a pseudoscience. The divorce papers are signed, and he's ready to move on with his life. Though taken aback, Marlena is happy to hear that, but suggests he continue therapy with someone else. He says he won't be doing that and leaves. After oversleeping, Chanel and Johnny rush to the square so Chanel can open the bakery. As Stephanie happily waits for Chanel to open, she tells Johnny that Tripp and Wendy left for Hong Kong. Johnny's surprised Wendy didn't say goodbye. An apologetic Chanel returns, instructing Stephanie to take anything she wants, on the house. When Stephanie steps away, a distracted Johnny stares off as Chanel talks about setting up a display for May Day. Given the all clear from radiation, Julie joins Maggie in the Kyriakis living room. Maggie tells her she and Constantine are getting married. Julie calls it very generous but hopes she'll financially protect herself. Maggie says he already signed a prenup. Since she's been so wise about it, Julie gives Maggie her support, but when the women hug, Julie looks concerned. At Black Patch, Constantine activates the pawn by holding up the card to John. He needs the pawn to break into Maggie's safe and steal the prenup. Marlena knocks on the door, wondering why it's locked. Panicking, Constantine flashes the card in front of the pawn's face, returning him to John. John opens the door. Both he and Marlena look around, confused, until Constantine explains he came by to invite them to his and Maggie's wedding. After Constantine leaves, Marlena can't understand what Maggie's thinking. She asks John what he said, but John can't remember. Frustrated, he recalls the same thing happening a few weeks ago, with Constantine in the park. He wonders what's going on with him. In her office, Paulina says her leaving isolation was blown out of proportion. Chad counters someone could have been seriously hurt, including her. Paulina points out no one was. She was acting as any worried parent would have, including him. What she did had minimal risk, and everyone involved is just fine. In the square, Johnny tells an exhausted Chanel he'll check out more apartments while she's working. However, he dreads the employment question since Trust Fund 20-something isn't exactly an occupation. Maybe he should give EJ's offer more thought. Chanel urges him to pursue his dream of making movies. He points out there are no opportunities in Salem, and he'd never dream of asking her to move to LA or New York. Both their lives are there. She asks if he's sure about that. He half-heartedly says of course. Alone again, Everett tells Stephanie it's time to forget Bobby Stain and move on with his life. Stephanie points out there's still so much he doesn't understand about his past with Jada. Everett says he can't live life in the past. Carpe diem, baby. He calls getting shrunk a waste of time. Dr. Evans must agree because she discharged him from therapy. Paulina comes to the square where Johnny and Chanel hand out baked goods. She tells her son-in-law that EJ is out to get her and even enlisted Chad. Apologetic, Johnny promises to put in a good word with his Uncle Chad. Chanel suddenly feels queasy and darts to the bakery. Constantine returns to the Kyriakis mansion where Julie congratulates him on his engagement. When she leaves to get breakfast, Maggie and Constantine discuss their wedding date. Maggie knows his visa expires at the end of the month. She promises not to let the deadline pass. When Chad enters to drop off the toys for the kids, he asks Constantine if he found the card he was looking for. Constantine assures Chad he did and intently watches him leave the room. In the foyer, Chad asks Julie how she feels about Paulina exposing her to radiation. Julie understands why she left isolation, but feels she put their lives at risk. She just thanks God she, Chanel, and Johnny didn't become ill. Stay tuned and subscribe the channel.